It's 4:30 in the morning, and you're already awake. Not because you want to be, because you couldn't sleep. Because the mortars hit the base twice during the night, and every time you started to drift off, your mind convinced you that you heard incoming rounds. You're exhausted, but sleep is impossible. So you get up, put on your flight suit, lace up your boots, and prepare for another day of flying missions that could kill you. This is what a typical day looked like for a Huey crew in Vietnam. Not the highlight reel, not the dramatic moments that make it into movies, the actual day-to-day reality of flying combat missions in a war zone. The routine, the fear, the exhaustion, the constant cycle of danger that never stops. This is the real story, hour by hour, mission by mission. And by the time you understand what these crews went through, you'll realize why so many of them came home changed forever. You head to the mess tent for breakfast. Powdered eggs, toast that's somehow both burned and soggy, coffee that tastes like diesel fuel but at least has caffeine. You eat because you need the energy. You drink the coffee because you need to be alert. Around you, other crew members are doing the same. Nobody talks much this early. Everyone's in their own head, thinking about the day ahead, wondering if today's the day their luck runs out. Your crew is 4 people. Captain Morrison is the pilot. He's 24 years old and on his second tour. He volunteered to come back. Nobody understands why, but nobody asks. Warrant Officer Chen is the co-pilot, 22 years old, first tour. Still learning, but good under pressure. Then there's you and Martinez. You're both door gunners, both 20 years old, both sitting in open doors with M60 machine guns every time this helicopter flies. You've been doing this for 7 months. Martinez has been here for 9. You walk to the flight line. The sun is just starting to come up. The heat is already building. It's going to be another day where the temperature hits over 100 degrees. Your Huey is sitting on the pad with about a dozen other helicopters. Tail number 6616735. You know this aircraft better than you know your own car back home. Every sound it makes, every quirk, every bullet hole that's been patched. Morrison and Chen do the pre-flight inspection. They walk around the aircraft checking everything. The rotor blades for cracks, the tail rotor for damage, the engine for leaks, the fuel levels, the oil, the hydraulics. Every single system gets checked because one mechanical failure at the wrong time means everyone dies. You and Martinez check your weapons. The M60's mounted at each door. You load ammunition belts, check that the guns traverse smoothly, clear any jams from yesterday's missions. Your life depends on these weapons working when you need them. Morning briefing. All the crews gather in a tent near the flight line. The operations officer goes through the day's missions. You're assigned to troop transport first, inserting infantry into a landing zone about 20 miles west. Then you're on standby for medevac, then resupply runs. Could be 8 missions today, could be 12. Depends on what happens. Depends on who needs help. The briefing covers enemy activity in the area, recent attacks, known anti-aircraft positions. But everyone knows this information is always incomplete. The enemy moves, sets up in new locations. You never really know what you're flying into. First mission. 6 Hueys flying in formation. Each carrying 8 fully loaded infantry soldiers. You lift off and immediately you feel it. The weight. The helicopter strains with all that weight. Morrison pulls maximum power to get altitude. Chen monitors the instruments. You and Martinez scan for threats.
The flight takes 15 minutes. You're flying low, nap of the earth, following the terrain, trying to avoid being spotted. The infantry soldiers in the back are quiet. They know what's coming. They've done this before. You can see it in their faces. Fear, determination, resignation. They're going into combat, and some of them might not come back. Approaching the landing zone, the lead helicopter radios that it looks clear, no visible enemy activity. But you know that doesn't mean anything. The enemy could be waiting, could let the first few helicopters land and then open up. You grip your M60 tighter. Your finger rests on the trigger guard. Ready. The LZ is a clearing in the jungle, maybe 50 yards across. The lead helicopter touches down. The infantry jumps out and spreads into a defensive perimeter. No fire. Morrison brings your Huey in. You land. The soldiers in the back scramble out. 8 seconds on the ground, then Morrison pulls power and you're climbing again. Still no enemy fire. The mission was clean. Back at base, refuel. The ground crew swarms your helicopter. Fuel O's connected. While they're refueling, you inspect your aircraft for damage. Check for bullet holes, even though you didn't take fire. Sometimes you find holes you didn't know were there from previous missions. Today, the aircraft looks good. No new damage. Martinez finds a hydraulic leak. Small. Not critical, but it needs attention. The crew chief marks it from maintenance. Stand by for medevac. This is the worst wait. You're sitting in your helicopter, engine off, rotors not turning, but you're fully geared up, ready to launch in under 2 minutes. You wait. You smoke cigarettes. You talk about nothing important, anything to distract from the tension. Because medevac calls means someone's wounded, someone's dying, and you're about to fly into whatever situation caused that.
The call comes. Medevac mission. Grid coordinates given. Ground unit in contact with the enemy. Multiple casualties. Urgent. Morrison and Chen are in their seats before the operations officer finishes talking. You and Martinez are strapped in. Morrison hits the starter. The turbine whines. The rotors begin to turn. 30 seconds later, you're lifting off. The flight to the LZ takes 12 minutes. The ground commander is on the radio. The situation is bad. They're pinned down. Heavy fire. 3 wounded. 1 critical. They're marking their position with smoke. Red smoke. You see it in the distance. Red smoke rising from the jungle. Morrison is talking to the ground commander, asking about the fire. The commander says it's coming from the tree line to the north. Heavy machine gun, maybe mortars. Morrison tells him you're coming in from the south. The commander acknowledges, says they'll suppress the enemy position when you're 30 seconds out. You can see tracers now. Green tracers from enemy positions, red tracers from the American unit returning fire. This is a hot LZ, very hot. Your heart is pounding. Your hands are sweating inside your gloves. Martinez is on his gun. Ready. You're ready. Morrison begins the approach. The firing intensifies. The Americans are laying down suppressive fire, trying to keep the enemy's heads down. But the enemy is firing back, and they're firing at your helicopter. You hear the first impacts, bullets hitting the aircraft, that distinctive sound like rocks hitting metal. Morrison keeps descending. Chen is calling out altitude, 50 feet, 40 feet, 30 feet. You open fire. Your M60 roars. You're aiming at the muzzle flashes in the tree line, trying to suppress the enemy, trying to protect your aircraft. Martinez is firing too, both guns going. The noise is incredible, but over it all, you hear more impacts, more bullets hitting your helicopter. Morrison flares. The Huey settles onto the ground. Immediately, soldiers are rushing toward you, carrying wounded. The first casualty is unconscious, massive chest wound. The medic and another soldier load him onto the floor of the helicopter. The second casualty is conscious but screaming, leg wound, bone visible. They load him. The third casualty can walk, but his arm is mangled. He climbs in himself. All of this takes maybe 20 seconds. Feels like 20 minutes. The whole time bullets are hitting the aircraft. You're firing, Martinez is firing, the door gunner on the helicopter next to you, another medevac bird, is firing. The noise and chaos are overwhelming. Morrison pulls power, maximum power. The Huey struggles to lift with all the weight. Wounded soldiers, the medic, you and Martinez, full ammunition load. The helicopter shudders, climbs slowly. Every second on the ground is another second you could get hit. Chen is calling out engine parameters, temperature, torque, making sure nothing's overheating. You clear the tree line, still taking fire, but you're climbing, getting distance. The firing gradually decreases as you get out of range. You check your aircraft, count the bullet holes you can see. At least 15, maybe 20. One went through the floor between your feet, 6 inches to the left, and it would have hit you. Landing at the field hospital. The wounded are rushed off. Doctors and nurses swarm them. You don't know if they'll survive. The critical one probably won't. The chest wound looked too severe. But you got him here. You gave them a chance. That's all you can do. Back at base, the ground crew inspects the damage. 23 bullet holes. One hit the tail boom, missed the tail rotor by inches. One went through the engine cowling, didn't hit anything vital. Luck, pure luck. The crew chief says the aircraft is flyable. They'll patch the holes. Morrison reports the damage, logs it, then you get ready for the next mission.
Resupply mission. Flying ammunition and food to a fire base. Routine flight. No combat. Just load the supplies, fly to the coordinates, unload, return. Except nothing is ever really routine. You're always scanning, always ready, always expecting fire. The fire base is on a hilltop, good defensive position, but exposed. You land, unload the supplies. The soldiers at the fire base look exhausted, dirty. They've been here for weeks. They thank you for the supplies, especially the mail. Letters from home mean everything out here. You lift off, return to base. Another mission complete. Break for lunch. You're not hungry, but you eat anyway. Rice, some kind of meat, warm soda. You sit with your crew. Martinez is quiet. He's been quiet since the medevac mission. You ask if he's okay. He says yeah, but you know he's not. Nobody's okay. You just keep functioning. Another briefing. Afternoon missions. More troop transport. Possible medevac. Possible reconnaissance. You go through the routine again. Check your weapon. Check ammunition. Check your equipment. Everything has to be ready. Launch. Another insertion. This one goes smoothly. No contact. The infantry gets on the ground. You extract without incident. Back to base. Refuel. Wait. Medevac call. Different unit, different location, same scenario. Wounded soldiers, hot LZ. You go through it again. The fear, the adrenaline, the incoming fire, the rush to load casualties, the desperate climb away from the ground. This time you take fewer hits, only 8 bullet holes. This time all the wounded are conscious. Better odds. The heat is oppressive now, over 100 degrees. The humidity makes it feel like you're breathing through a wet blanket. Your sweatsuit is soaked through with sweat. You drink water constantly, but it's never enough. The dehydration is brutal. You feel dizzy, lightheaded, but you can't stop. More missions are scheduled.
Another insertion, then another. Then a reconnaissance flight where you fly low and slow over suspected enemy positions, trying to draw fire so they can be identified and targeted. It's terrifying. You're bait, deliberately making yourself a target, but it works. You take fire, mark the position, call in artillery. The enemy position is destroyed. Finally, stand down for the day. 8 missions flown. 2 medevac runs under fire, 31 bullet holes in your aircraft total, but everyone in your crew survived. That's a good day. A lucky day. Debriefing. Report what you saw, where you took fire from, enemy positions, anything unusual. Morrison fills out paperwork, maintenance forms, flight logs. Everything has to be documented. The adrenaline is wearing off. You're starting to feel the exhaustion, the fear, the weight of what you did today. You flew into combat zones 8 times. You were shot at for hours. You saw wounded soldiers, blood, pain, death. And tomorrow, you'll do it all again. Dinner. You're not hungry. You eat anyway. The mess tent is crowded. Everyone's talking, decompressing, telling stories about the day's missions, exaggerating close calls, laughing at things that aren't funny. It's how you cope, how you process, how you keep from breaking down. Free time. Some guys play cards, some write letters home, some just sleep. You try to write a letter to your parents, but you don't know what to say. You can't tell them what your day was really like. Can't describe the fear, or the bullets, or the wounded soldiers. So you write about the weather, and the food, and nothing important. You tell them you're fine. You're not fine, but they don't need to know that. You try to sleep. Lay on your cot in the tent you share with a dozen other guys. The heat is still unbearable. Fans blow hot air around. You're exhausted, but your mind won't shut off. You replay the missions. Think about the bullet that went through the floor between your feet. Think about the wounded soldier with the chest wound who probably died. Think about tomorrow and how you have to do this all again. You finally start to drift off, and then mortars hit the base. Explosions, sirens. Everyone scrambles for bunkers. You spend 45 minutes in a bunker waiting for the all clear. When you get back to your cot, you can't sleep. So you lay there, staring at the ceiling, waiting for morning. You're awake again. Another day begins. This was a day in the life of a Huey crew in Vietnam. Not the worst day, not the best day, just a typical day. 8 missions, constant danger, exhaustion, fear, and the knowledge that tomorrow will be exactly the same, that you'll do this day after day, week after week, month after month, until your tour ends or until you don't come back. The crews who flew these missions, pilots, co-pilots, door gunners, crew chiefs, did this for an entire year. 365 days, thousands of missions, countless hours of exposure to combat. The psychological toll was enormous. The physical exhaustion was crushing, but they kept flying, kept launching, kept pulling wounded soldiers out of hot LZs because that was the job. That was what soldiers on the ground needed. These crews saved thousands of lives, transported tens of thousands of soldiers, flew hundreds of thousands of missions, and they did it knowing that every single flight could be their last. That's courage. That's dedication. That's what it meant to be a Huey crew in Vietnam. Day after day, mission after mission, hour by hour, until finally, if you were lucky, you went home.